They say time waits for no one. But when you cross the age of 70, time starts whispering something different. It tells you to slow down, to listen to your body, to rest wisely. Yet, in a world that keeps moving at full speed, sleep, something so natural, so necessary, becomes an afterthought. You might find yourself staying up too late, waking up too early, or tossing and turning in between. But what if I told you that the right bedtime after 70 isn't just about getting enough sleep? It could be the key to a sharper mind, a healthier heart, and even a longer life. Before we go further, I'd love to know where you're joining us from. And if this conversation brings you any value, a like and subscribe would mean a lot. After all, wisdom grows best when it's shared. Now, let's talk about something many people overlook. When exactly should you go to bed after 70 for better health? Doctors have spent decades researching this, and the answer isn't as simple as just sleep when you're tired. Your body operates on a rhythm, one that changes with age. Your hormones shift, your sleep cycles shorten, and your body's ability to bounce back from poor sleep isn't what it used to be. That's why the right bedtime matters more than ever. You see, when you're younger, your body naturally produces more melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to sleep. But after 70, melatonin levels drop significantly. This is why many older adults find themselves wide awake at midnight, staring at the ceiling, or waking up at 4 a.m. feeling exhausted but unable to go back to sleep. It's not just a random annoyance, it's biology. Doctors who specialize in sleep and aging have found that the ideal bedtime for most people over 70 falls between 8 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. Why this range? Because it aligns best with your circadian rhythm, your body's internal clock. If you stay up too late, your body misses the natural window when sleep comes easiest, making it harder to drift off. On the other hand, going to bed too early might lead to waking up in the middle of the night, unable to return to sleep. But here's the part most people don't realize. It's not just when you sleep, it's how you prepare for it. Your body needs certain signals to wind down properly. That means dimming the lights an hour before bed, reducing screen time, and avoiding caffeine or heavy meals in the evening. These small changes can have a profound effect on the quality of your sleep. Now, you might be thinking, I've been going to bed whenever I feel tired for years, why change now? That's a fair question. But here's something to consider. Poor sleep isn't just about feeling groggy the next day. Over time, it can increase the risk of memory problems, heart disease, and even a shorter lifespan. Research has shown that older adults who consistently go to bed late and wake up at irregular hours have a higher chance of developing dementia. That's because deep sleep is when your brain cleans out toxins and processes memories. If you're not getting enough of it, your brain struggles to function at its best. There's also the issue of blood pressure. During deep sleep, your heart rate slows and your blood pressure drops. This is essential for heart health, especially as you age. Studies have found that seniors who don't get enough deep sleep are more likely to develop high blood pressure and heart disease. So, having a consistent bedtime isn't just about feeling well rested. It's about protecting your heart and brain. But let's be honest, changing a bedtime routine isn't easy, especially if you've spent decades with the habit of staying up late. It takes time and adjustment. The key is to make gradual changes. Try going to bed 15 minutes earlier each night until you reach that sweet spot between 8 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. If you struggle with falling asleep, using a simple bedtime routine like reading a book, listening to calming music, or even light stretching, can train your body to recognize that it's time to wind down. And here's something interesting. Your wake-up time is just as important as your bedtime. Waking up at the same time every morning, even on weekends, helps regulate your internal clock. This means less waking up in the middle of the night and better quality sleep overall. Doctors often say that seniors should aim to wake up around 6 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. for the best health benefits. This timing allows the body to align with natural daylight, helping regulate mood, energy levels, and even digestion. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I just don't feel tired at 9 p.m. That's completely normal if your routine has been different for years. But the trick is consistency. The more regularly you stick to a bedtime, the easier it will become. Your body will start adjusting, and eventually, you'll find yourself naturally feeling sleepy at the right time. Another thing that helps? Exposure to morning sunlight. Stepping outside for just 15 minutes in the morning can help reset your body's clock, making it easier to fall asleep at night. That's because natural light regulates melatonin production, telling your body when to be awake and when to wind down. Now, let's take a closer look at how sleep actually changes after 70, because it's not just about going to bed earlier. It's about understanding why your body reacts differently to sleep as you age, and more importantly, how you can work with these changes instead of struggling against them. A lot of people assume that older adults simply need less sleep, but that's a myth. The truth is, your body still needs around 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. What actually changes is how easily you can get that sleep. If you've ever felt like you wake up more often in the night, find it harder to fall asleep, or wake up too early and can't get back to bed, you're not alone. That's completely normal after 70. But why does this happen? One of the biggest reasons is that your sleep cycles change. When you were younger, your body would cycle through different stages of sleep: light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep, without much disruption. But after 70, deep sleep becomes shorter and lighter. That's why small noises that never used to bother you, like a creaky floorboard or a passing car, can suddenly wake you up. It's also why you might wake up in the middle of the night and feel wide awake, even though your body still needs rest. Doctors call this sleep fragmentation, and it's one of the biggest reasons older adults feel tired during the day, even if they technically got enough hours in bed. Instead of sleeping through the night, your sleep gets broken up into smaller, less restful chunks. Another major factor: changes in your body's internal clock. Your circadian rhythm, the biological clock that tells your body when to wake up and when to sleep, naturally shifts as you age. This means your body starts getting sleepy earlier in the evening and waking up earlier in the morning. If you've ever wondered why older adults tend to be early risers, this is exactly why. But here's the problem. Many people resist this natural shift. They continue staying up late, watching television or scrolling on their phones, fighting against their own biology. The result? Their sleep quality suffers. If you find yourself waking up at 4 a.m. and feeling exhausted, it's not that you need less sleep. It's that your bedtime might be misaligned with your body's needs. There's another piece to this puzzle that most people overlook: hormones. After 70, your body produces less melatonin, the sleep hormone that tells your brain it's time to rest. This makes it harder to fall asleep naturally, which is why many older adults find themselves lying awake in bed for long periods before finally drifting off. But the problem isn't just falling asleep, it's staying asleep. When melatonin levels are low, your body struggles to maintain deep, uninterrupted sleep. That's why even small disturbances, like needing to use the bathroom, feeling too hot or too cold, or even slight discomfort, can wake you up. So, how can you work with these changes instead of fighting them? One of the most effective solutions is training your body to follow a predictable routine. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, helps regulate your circadian rhythm, making it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. Another simple but powerful strategy: using light to your advantage. Your body's internal clock is heavily influenced by light exposure. That means getting natural sunlight during the morning and avoiding bright screens in the evening can make a huge difference in improving your sleep. If you struggle with falling asleep at night, try these 3 simple habits. Get at least 15 to 30 minutes of sunlight within an hour of waking up. This helps reset your circadian rhythm and makes it easier to fall asleep at night. Dim the lights in your home about an hour before bed. Bright artificial light confuses your body into thinking it's still daytime, delaying the production of melatonin. Avoid screens at least 30 minutes before sleep. Phones, tablets, and TVs emit blue light, which disrupts melatonin production and keeps your brain in an alert state. And what about waking up in the middle of the night? This is one of the most frustrating sleep problems for people over 70, and it happens more often than you'd think. If you find yourself waking up and struggling to fall back asleep, the key is to avoid lying awake in frustration. Instead of staring at the ceiling and letting your mind race, try this. Get out of bed and do something calming. Read a book under dim light. Listen to soft music, or practice deep breathing. Avoid bright lights and screens. Keep your bedroom cool and comfortable. Many older adults sleep better in a room set between 60 to 67 dU4F, 15 to 19 dU4C. Don't check the clock. Watching the time tick by only increases stress and makes it harder to relax. Another thing that often gets overlooked, the role of diet and exercise. Eating heavy meals, drinking caffeine, or consuming alcohol too close to bedtime can seriously disrupt sleep. If you tend to have a late-night snack, go for something light and easy to digest, like a banana, yogurt, or a handful of nuts. And here's something you might not expect. Regular physical activity can actually improve sleep. Even a simple 30-minute walk during the day can help your body fall asleep more easily at night. But the key is to avoid vigorous exercise too close to bedtime, as it can have the opposite effect. We've talked about why sleep changes after 70 and how to align your bedtime with your body's natural rhythm. But now, let's talk about something even more important, the hidden effects of poor sleep on your long-term health. Because here's the truth. Sleep isn't just about feeling rested. It's about protecting your mind, your heart, and even your immune system. It's about making sure your body has the time it needs to repair itself, process memories, and fight off disease. Yet so many people brush off poor sleep as just an inconvenience. They think, oh, I'll catch up later, or I've been sleeping this way for years, I'll be fine. But science tells a different story. Chronic poor sleep can have serious long-term effects, especially after 70. Let's start with one of the biggest concerns, your brain. If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, you've probably felt it the next day. Maybe you were forgetful, a little more irritable, or just mentally slower. That's because sleep is when your brain clears out toxins, organizes memories, and strengthens connections between neurons. But what happens when you don't get enough sleep for months or years? Researchers have found that poor sleep is directly linked to an increased risk of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. In fact, studies show that people who regularly sleep less than 6 hours per night have a significantly higher risk of cognitive decline as they age. Why? Because during deep sleep, your brain flushes out beta amyloid, a protein linked to Alzheimer's. When you don't sleep enough, or when your sleep is too fragmented, this waste builds up in the brain, increasing the risk of memory problems later in life. And it's not just about dementia. Poor sleep is also linked to depression and anxiety. When you don't get enough rest, your brain becomes more sensitive to stress and negative emotions. That's why people who struggle with sleep often feel more irritable, anxious, or even hopeless. It's a cycle. Lack of sleep worsens mental health, and poor mental health makes it harder to sleep. So, if you've been feeling more emotionally drained, more forgetful, or just mentally foggy, your sleep might be the missing piece of the puzzle. Now, Let's talk about your heart. Most people don't realize that sleep is one of the most powerful tools for protecting heart health, especially after 70. During deep sleep, your blood pressure naturally drops, your heart rate slows, and your body gets a chance to repair itself. But when you don't sleep enough, or when your sleep is constantly interrupted, this healing process is disrupted. Studies show that older adults who get less than 6 hours of sleep per night have a higher risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, and even stroke. The reason is simple. Without enough rest, your heart has to work harder, inflammation levels rise, and your blood vessels don't function as well as they should. And here's something most people don't think about. Poor sleep can even lead to weight gain. When you're sleep deprived, your body produces more ghrelin, the hormone that makes you feel hungry. At the same time, it reduces leptin, the hormone that tells you when you're full. This means you're more likely to crave unhealthy foods, eat more than you need, and gain weight without even realizing it. This is especially important after 70, because extra weight puts more strain on your heart, your joints, and your metabolism. And when combined with slower metabolism and reduced muscle mass that naturally comes with aging, poor sleep can make weight management even harder. And finally, let's talk about your immune system. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they can get by with minimal sleep and still stay healthy. But did you know that your body fights off illness while you sleep? During deep sleep, your immune system releases cytokines, proteins that help fight infections and reduce inflammation. Without enough sleep, your immune system weakens, making you more vulnerable to colds, flu, and even more serious conditions like pneumonia. And here's something shocking. Research shows that older adults who don't get enough sleep are less responsive to vaccines. That means if you're not sleeping well, your body may not get the full protection from vaccines, like the flu shot or pneumonia vaccine. So when people say, "Oh, sleep isn't that important," they're missing the bigger picture. Poor sleep isn't just about feeling tired. It's about putting your brain, your heart, and your immune system at risk. But here's the good news. You can take control of your sleep, no matter your age. It starts with small, intentional changes, setting a consistent bedtime and sticking to it even on weekends. Getting sunlight in the morning to regulate your body's internal clock. Avoiding caffeine or alcohol too close to bedtime. Creating a relaxing evening routine to signal to your brain that it's time to wind down. We've covered a lot in this discussion. Why sleep changes after 70, how poor sleep affects your brain, heart, and immune system, and the best bedtime for optimal health. But let's take a step back and reflect on the bigger picture. At its core, sleep is more than just rest, it's restoration. It's the time when your body heals, your mind processes memories, and your heart gets a break from the work it does all day. Yet, as we age, sleep can become more fragile, and if we don't prioritize it, the effects can ripple through every part of our health. We now know that older adults still need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, but getting that sleep becomes more challenging due to changes in melatonin levels, lighter sleep cycles, and shifts in the body's internal clock. These biological changes explain why many seniors struggle with falling asleep, wake up frequently, or find themselves rising too early in the morning. But here's what's important to remember. Poor sleep isn't just about feeling tired. It's been linked to an increased risk of memory loss, heart disease, weakened immunity, and even shorter lifespans. A lack of deep sleep makes it harder for the brain to clear out toxins, weakens the body's ability to fight off illness, and even contributes to weight gain by disrupting hunger hormones. The good news? Sleep can be improved, no matter your age. You don't have to accept restless nights as an inevitable part of getting older. Small, intentional changes can make a big difference in how well you sleep and ultimately, how well you age. If there's one thing to take away from this discussion, It's that routine is key. Your body thrives on consistency. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, can help reset your internal clock and promote better sleep. And don't forget the power of natural light. Getting sunlight in the morning and dimming lights in the evening sends the right signals to your brain, helping regulate melatonin production and making it easier to fall asleep when time comes. Another simple yet powerful adjustment: keeping your sleeping environment comfortable. A cool, dark, and quiet bedroom can prevent nighttime awakenings and help you stay in deeper, more restorative sleep. We also discussed a few natural sleep aids: magnesium, herbal teas, and melatonin, which can be useful for some people. But the best sleep improvements come from lifestyle changes, not quick fixes. So, as we wrap up this conversation, I encourage you to think about your own sleep patterns. Are you getting the quality rest your body needs? If not, what small steps can you take tonight to improve it? Maybe it's dimming the lights an hour before bed, stepping outside for morning sunlight, or simply committing to a consistent bedtime. Remember, better sleep leads to better days. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every small improvement adds up, helping you stay sharper, healthier, and more energized as you age. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's the biggest challenge you face when it comes to sleep? Have you found any tricks that help you sleep better? Let's continue this conversation in the comments. And if you found this discussion helpful, a like and subscribe would mean a lot. It helps share this wisdom with others who may be struggling with the same issues. Take care, sleep well, and I'll see you in the next video.